Hi everybody, I'm Steve the Bread Guy, and I'm back with another video to show you how to make bread at home that you'd usually only buy in a bakery. And today, I want to show you how to make one of these. This lovely round is a white bread, and it's just actually the regular white bread that I've shown you how to use in another video. But what I've done is I've braided it and then rolled it up and sealed it so it turns into this lovely shape. So, how do we do this? Well, it's actually very easy. First, we start with a bowl, as usual, and some yeast. So we're going to take 2 teaspoons of yeast and dump it in there. 1, 2, and then I need 2 cups of warm water. Okay, so water which is warm enough so that when you put your finger in it, it doesn't hurt too much. Like, it doesn't hurt at all. Like, it shouldn't be so hot that it's uncomfortable. It should be, okay, that's pretty warm. So let me get 2 cups of water. Okay, so here's 1. And here's the second one. Okay, now just give that a bit of a stir with a spoon. And then just wait for 10 minutes, because it's going to take that long for it to scum up on the top. Once it looks nice and scummy on the top, you know that the yeast is activated and you're ready to go. So, I will see you in 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm back, and as you can see, the yeast has done its work. It's all awake and scummy on the top, which is exactly what we want. So, next step is we're going to add some salt. 2 teaspoons of salt will do it. This is strictly for taste. It has nothing to do with the chemistry of the bread. So, 1, 2, and I'm using just regular table salt. And then the next step, this is a very simple recipe in terms of ingredients. We're going to add the white flour. I'm using regular all-purpose flour because I'm in Canada. If you're in other parts of the world, you should probably use bread flour. It's all about the protein content in the flour that determines how strong it's going to be when it rises, so the gluten can keep the thing, give it a good structure and keep it. So, let's give it a stir. I'm going to add between 4.5 and 5 cups of flour. Over the course of this, it varies depending on the humidity in the air and so forth. And by the way, the yeast took about 10 minutes to go like that. If you're in a really cold place, it may take a little bit longer. If you're in a really hot place, it may go a little bit quicker. The 10 minutes is just a guideline. Yeast being a living thing, it doesn't follow rules very well, much like human beings. So, there's a 3rd cup. I think that's the 3rd cup. So the first steps for this are really, really easy, because we're just mixing the ingredients together. And I'll show you after this first rise how we roll it out so that it looks like that lovely round. It's not hard, but it will help if you've got a surface that you can roll it out on, because you will need to do that. This will get harder and harder to do. So as it gets harder, there's going to come a point very soon now where I'm going to have to get my hands in there to do the rest of the work. So, and that time is now, actually. So what I usually do is just dump a little bit of flour on top, and then dump my hands in it so that my hands don't get stuck, and then I press down, straight down, and then fold it over on itself, and press down some more. So just press down, fold over, press down again. Just do that a few times until the flour is pretty much absorbed. And then the next step is I like to get it out of the bowl and into my hands like this. And just shape it into a ball. And if it's a little bit sticky, like this is a little bit sticky still, put it back in the bowl as long as there's some flour in there. And just dust it with flour again. And then pull it back up. And so it should feel nice and elastic. So just keep doing it until it gets nice and elastic, and it easily folds into a ball. So here all I'm doing with my hands is I'm squeezing it on either side, sort of pushing them in, and then turning it sideways, and doing the same thing. So, there we go. So that shapes nicely into a ball, so that means it's ready. So I'm just going to put that there, use my hands to rub out the excess flour. For those of you who have seen my videos before, I know always do this the same way, so forgive me for a bit of repetition, but this one's worth it, seeing as we're going to get that nice round out of it. And this shape here, just while I'm cleaning off my hands, this shape, you don't have to do it with just white bread. You could do it with whole wheat bread, any bread that's fairly elastic. A really, really heavy bread, one that doesn't have a lot of gluten in it, is not going to puff up and look quite as wonderful as this, but it'll still work. But certainly the lighter breads, things which are made mostly with wheat or completely with wheat, will turn into this shape quite easily, because the wheat's the flour that has gluten in it. The gluten will give it structure, and so when you get it into this structure, it'll hold. Whereas a dough that's made out of, say, half wheat, half buckwheat, for instance, it doesn't have gluten in it. Just dump that into the compost. It's going to lose some of its shape. It's just the trade-off of using a non-gluten grain for your flour. So now I'm just going to put about a tablespoon of oil in here. Just put it around the bowl so that the dough ball doesn't stick to it. And stick the dough ball in, turn it over once, turn it over one more time, and now it needs an hour to rise. So I'm just going to put a damp cloth over top and give it an hour to rise. It should double in size in an hour. Again, if you're in a cold place, it may take longer than an hour to double, but what you want is to see it double. If it's doubling, that means the yeast is happy, it's eating away at the flour, it's excreting carbon dioxide, which is puffing it up like a balloon from the inside. That's what you want. So let it double, and then we'll start making that shape. So I will see you in about an hour. Okay, so I'm back and it's been an hour, and let's see how the bread's done. Oh, it's risen very nicely. No surprise. See, it's easily doubled. So our goal now is to make this, right? So now we're going to do the rolling out so we can make this shape. So to do that, what we do is, first of all, we punch down the dough like this, just squeeze it, squeeze all the bubbles out. And you'll hear them coming out as you do this. And I usually just squeeze it a little bit more with my hands like this. Okay. And now I'm going to get rid of the bowl. Get rid of the spoon too. Now what you want to do is put some flour on the table, because we're going to have to roll this out. So for this next step, you need a clean surface as well as a rolling pin. And we're going to divide this into exactly half. So to do that, I'm just going to take a knife. So I just figure out where half is, cut through it, like that. I want two equally long pieces. Put one aside. And now we're going to roll this one out exactly the same way I'd do it for a baguette. So roll some flour onto the rolling pin, then roll it towards yourself and away from yourself. You can hear the bubbles coming out there. So just do this for a bit. And you want to make these ones fairly long, okay? So really stretch it out. Like, don't stretch it. You want to roll it. You can tell if a dough's being stretched. It'll have what sort of seem like stretch marks, and you don't want that. That's why we're going to roll it like this. This is going to be a good length. Okay, like that. And then I usually turn it on its side like this. And just push it out away from me. I want a rectangular shape. Not a round shape, but a rectangular shape. It makes it easy to roll up, because I'm going to basically make this into a jelly roll. I'm just going to roll it up, and that's going to become our snake. And I want two snakes for this. I'm going to push it out this way because I want a long one. For now, I'm just going to roll this. Gently roll it like that. I use both hands so I get an even flow. Roll, roll, roll. Put the seam, see the seam? Put it on the bottom. and then just squeeze it with your hands. And then at the ends where you can see there's a fold over, just pull it over over top of itself and pinch it underneath so that you close off the ends. If you're making a baguette, this makes a big difference, but for this it's not a huge thing, seeing as as you'll see, the real trick with this is what to do with the ends of it, because we're going to fold the ends under so they don't show. But okay, so that's one of them, and now I want to make another one which is the same size as this. So put more flour down, and then exactly the same process for the second one. As you can see, I have one which is longer than the other, so it's best if they're the same length. So just stretch it out a little bit so they're the same length, and then offset them by just a little bit. Okay, because I want to have a little bit of overhang on one of them, so I've offset it by about that much. Oh, I don't know. 4 fingers widths. 4 fingers width is how much they should be offset. And then what you do is you just braid them. Push this back a little bit. So just braid them. Over, 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 over. Okay, so that's where I'm at. I'm just going to do this so I can see it. Now the trick is to make it so you don't see any of the ends on the top. Okay, so this is the way it starts. So like that, like that. I'm going to push that under. I'm going to put that under like that, and that'll work. Twist them all so that they end up underneath. You want the ends of them to be underneath the bread so it doesn't show up top. So it just keeps wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. You take the 2 ropes, offset by 4 fingers, and then twist one over the other until in your 3/4 shaped circle you've got 3 or 4 loose ends. Then keep twisting them, and then twist them so that they go underneath, so that the ends of them end up underneath. What you don't want to see are any open ends. Now what I'm going to do is just take a pan. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the middle, like this. Like that. And now I'm just going to gently lift this, take it from under, grab it underneath where you had all the ends go, and just stick it there. And that's all there is to it. So with that there, I'm now just going to cover it up again with a damp towel that I have here, and I'm going to leave it for an hour to rise. And then once that rise is done, we will stick it in the oven. And I'm going to bake it at 425 degrees for 22 minutes, and then I'm going to take a look at it and see how it's doing. So I will see you in an hour. Okay, so I'm back. It's an hour later, and let's see how the bread is done. Oh boy, it's gotten huge. Just huge. This is going to be a beautiful one. So, what I've done while I've been away is a couple of minutes ago I turned on the oven to 425. So, 425 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. And I've also got a pan of water in there so that it's nice and steamy in there, which will help give this a nice crust. So, this has risen really, really well. So I'm going to put it into the oven now, and I'm going to put it in for 22 minutes, and that should be plenty. It should come out a nice golden color like that other one did. So let's go see. So I'll just give you a look there. There you go. This looks beautiful. And let's put it into the oven. Okay, so it has been just over 22 minutes. I checked the bread at 22 minutes, thought I could use a minute or 2 more. So now I'm going to pull it out and we'll see how it turned out. I'll just put something there so I can put that. Oh, there's the timer. So, this is what it looks like. Pretty nice, huh? It puffed up beautifully. The seam worked out really well, so it doesn't look like anything's overhanging, which is great. And it's got a nice golden brown look to it. You can tell that it's done by that hollow sound. So, a very fancy bread, and as you can see, it's not hard to do. The thing is, you just have to roll it out into two baguette shapes, and then twine them around each other. And then, just to remind you, the key thing is when you get to the end, you want to have a little bit of overhang on both ends, so that you can do one final twist, and then any extra that you have on the ends, bury them underneath. Put them underneath, because you don't want to see those ends. You want it to sort of look like an Escher bread, where it just keeps going and going and going, and there's no obvious end to it. So I encourage you to try this. If this is your first time making bread, I wouldn't encourage you to try this one first. I would do a regular white bread first, just so you can get the feel of the dough and get used to it. But once you've had a couple of tries at making some bread, try one of these. Send me some pictures, send me some emails. I love hearing from you guys. And good luck with it. Steve the Bread Guy saying bye for now.